All right, guys, I wanted to put together just a quick video to walk you through how to submit your online labs for the semester. Really trying to make sure everybody knows where to go to do the labs and what assignments are due. That way you don't lose out on any of the points. Big thing to emphasize, labs are always due by midnight on Wednesdays. Look at the course schedule, that calendar, and it'll show you what lab is due on which Wednesday. But midnight is the deadline for submission of these labs. So all the labs are going to have two parts. One part is virtual, which is done through the Connect course or the Connect system. And there's going to be a virtual component and then a homework submission in the virtual side of it. And then the second component is what we're calling the hands-on kind of kitchen labs to try to do some hands-on stuff with labs. That is housed in Blackboard. Okay, so let me jump out to Connect. I'm going to show you guys where that is and what to do there. And then I'll come back into Blackboard and show you what we're doing with that. Okay, so here's Connect. This is what it should look like for you guys. This is a student view. When you have a lab due, they will be posted here. So the scientific method lab, you would click on this, click here. That will take you out into the lab. It's a virtual lab where you're walking through a series of different exercises and activities. Once you've completed that, you need to come and do the scientific method homework. Each of the virtual labs will have a homework assignment. You click on that. It's going to ask you a series of questions that you need to answer based on what you did in the lab, the virtual lab, and that will automatically submit your points into the Connect system. Now, this scientific method homework is going to be worth 5 points. You'll immediately see, oh, I got 5 out of 5. Fantastic. That will not appear in Blackboard's gradebook until the instructor manually moves it over. Okay, I don't sync things because I worry about how systems muddle each other, and if one system is messed up, it screws up the other. So I keep the two systems separate. Manually, your grades will be moved over. So don't panic if you're like, I didn't see my grade in Blackboard. What happened? Give us a little time. We'll get it moved over. All right. So when it comes to metric lab, there's a couple different parts to it. We want you to look at temperature, length, weight, volume. These are quick activities, in like 10 minutes maybe. Then do the metric system homework. So please keep in mind, you're not coming to campus for a 2-hour lab period. So you should budget about 2 hours of time at home to do the virtual and the hands-on component. That is the equivalent time you should expect to spend. Some may go quicker. You might do it in an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes. That depends on you. But what I would encourage is do not wait till Wednesday at 11 o'clock to say, oh, I'm gonna crank through my labs and try to get them done before midnight, because you may not have time to finish it. Some of these will take close to the full 2 hours. There are also some of the hands-on lab parts that you need to prep ahead of Wednesday. Some of them it takes 3 days to get everything put together to make sure it'll work for you on that Wednesday. Feel free to do these early. I highly encourage it. Okay, so again, this is a Connect virtual lab component. These are going to be worth 5 points. You're going to see these throughout the entire semester. So here's some over chemical composition. Basically, it's food testing. Here's some over cell structure, genetics. So they are listed in chronological order of how the semester is arranged. And what I would encourage you to do is do the chapter or chapters that are listed prior to the lab. So don't try to do the genetics lab without having done the chapter on genetics, the chapter and lecture, as well as the Learn Smart. It'll make it so much easier if you have a little foundation of content before you try to jump into lab. So in a typical face-to-face class, we would lecture over this content before we would hit the lab. I'd encourage you to do the same idea here in the virtual world. Okay, so that's your Connect side of things. Now in Blackboard, the other half will be found in this tab, Blackboard Online Labs. So you click here, and first thing I'd mention, here's a list. This is a supply list. These are all the materials you are responsible for purchasing. Most of them are things you'll have in your kitchen: eggs, scissors, paper, etc. It's nothing crazy. I didn't want to make you guys go out and buy a $280 lab kit from a company to do these labs, so we created them and the hands-on component here. Okay, so definitely print this off, go buy all these supplies the next time you're at the grocery store, or again, you may have most of it in your kitchen already. So scientific method lab, boom, right here. So you're gonna click on that. It's going to give you a Word document. You need to open the Word document. Come on, open. There we go. Walk through this. So read through it. What are we doing with the scientific method? Okay. Here's the hands-on part. It's going to take 30 minutes of observation for this. Again, budget your time accordingly. Don't wait till 11 o'clock to start this. Those of you with kids, have your kids do some of these activities with you. Some of them they will be entertained by. My kids were. I would assume most of your kids would be entertained or excited maybe with some of them. All right, so here's your required materials. This is what you're going to need to have available. Boom. Get in. Here's your lab experiment. Okay, so make a prediction. Fill this out right here. Try think. Oh, should be think. Think. There you go. This is your prediction. Do it for all the substances, etc. Described control group, experimental. So, oh, didn't want to do it there. So, fill this worksheet out and then save it when you're done. Okay? So here are your results. Plug in all your results. What conclusions did you have? Fill out the table. Everything here is a Word document. You can fill it out and put all your information in there. Okay? So, when you're done, save it. Boom. Okay, let me get that out of there. All right, so now that you've saved it, you should have that saved somewhere on your desktop. You need to upload it back into here. So you'll be able to upload your saved Word document back into this spot right here. So I saved my file. All I have to do is click and drag it over here, or I can browse my computer and find it. And now it's in Blackboard. I'm submitting it here, and once I'm all good, I can, if you want to send us a note, hey, that was a great lab, or oh, that really sucked. You don't have to, but then submit. Once you submit, it uploads into Blackboard, and we can see that you've submitted it. There'll be a little icon. You will not get a grade until we come back and grade them manually. So we'll go into Blackboard, open up the lab, grade the lab, add comments, take your points for this lab. This one's worth 5. Add it together with the points for your Connect lab. Put those together, enter that into your grade book in Blackboard. Hopefully it's a 10 for everybody. So then you'll see under the gradebook column your total score for both parts of your lab work here. Okay, so I just wanted to put this together. The labs are listed in order. Please look at that calendar so you know what's coming at you. Please, especially with these hands-on ones, look at them in advance. I will try to also send out announcements like, hey, you need to be thinking about this lab now, because, so you guys have a heads up. The bulk of your labs are done this way. They're going to be through Connect and Blackboard. There will be several, though, that Connect does not have a lab. Those are independent of Connect. So like we get down here, genetic practice code. or genetic code practice problems. I'll send out a URL for a video on YouTube, and then you'll do this lab from that video. You don't need Connect for that one. Again, there's several others like this evolution lab in Gizmo, and there's an ecology lab in Gizmo. These are not going to go to Connect. Connect doesn't have two evolution labs. They have one, but this one goes to a different system. And I'll make sure I provide instructions when we get to these labs that go to Gizmo, and you work little animations and things in Gizmo to cover the concepts of evolution and concept of ecology. Okay, so again, make sure you're doing these as Word documents and you're submitting them back into Blackboard here. If you have any questions, please email or post in Blackboard in the discussion board, but do it proactively. Don't wait until Wednesday at 9:30 and say, I don't know what I'm doing, because it's probably too late at that point. All right, so look ahead. Make sure you guys get it all figured out. Lab is an easy way to pick up a bunch of points. There are 13 labs here across a semester, 130 points. You should get pretty darn close to all of those if you do all of the labs. Stay on top of them. Like I said, it's a great way to pick up a bunch of points. Please don't come up with, well, I couldn't do it, or I didn't have this material or that. Be proactive. That's the responsibility you take as an online student, to be prepared for all this. If you came to campus, we'd have all these materials set up for you, but we're not on campus. We're in the online world. There's a greater responsibility on the student when it comes to labs in the online world. All right, but again, holler, email, discussion board, whatever you need to do. If you need some help, happy to help to make sure you guys get through all these without any problems. All right, thanks.